Hey everyone, today we're going to be putting together a 12 by 10 MistMo shed. This can be ordered on Amazon for about $600. Like I said, it's 10 by 12. We've already gone ahead and built our foundation here, so we are ready to start installing it. So we ordered it. It came with 3 boxes. You can see we got first box, second box, third box. It's got all of our supplies in it. So when we crack open our second box, we see it comes with our instructions, our gloves, and this sheet here, which has our hardware and our materials. So we're gonna start reviewing this instruction manual, getting our parts together, cracking to the rest of these, and we are going to put this shed together. All right, so according to the instructions, it takes 2 people and it's a 7 to 10 hour installation. So this is a day project for sure. When we're reviewing what tools we need a hammer, screwdriver, ladder. We need our drill, a wrench. We need a square, a level, tape measure, and of course it came with the gloves over here. Now down here it says that you need 3 or 4 people, so it's just 2 of us right now. We're gonna see how it goes and we will keep y'all posted. All right, so the first thing we're starting with is the A1 through 7 parts. Those came from our box number 3. So we're gonna line those up. We already have in the appropriate order that's laid out here. So our 7's in the front, 2s, 1s on the sides, so on and so forth. And then back in box number 2, we have our T1 washers and our H1 screws. And according to this, we're just gonna screw all of these pieces in together. So if we come over here, we'll just line this up here. It'll pop over it. You see these holes here? They'll just line up over these other holes. So we're going to do that all the way around and we will start screwing them in. All right, so before step 2, it has us lay out a handful of supplies. So all of those are going to come from box number 3, which we have in the middle, and box number 1. Most of the small pieces like this are from box 3, and then from box number 1, we have our panels that are going to go on the corner. One thing we spotted was that these were damaged, most likely in shipping, so we're just going to get some pliers and bend these straight, and we'll start putting it together. So each of these panels has this protective film over it to keep it from getting damaged when shipping, but it is very challenging to get off. You can see as we're pulling it back, it'll peel in some areas and you gotta come back and work it off. So we're gonna have to do that to every single panel, which is not fun, but at least these panels are, I guess, protected when they're shipped. All right, first step, we're gonna take those E3 panels, that's the ones with these bends here, and we're putting it on the outsides. We're screwing that in with our H1 screws and our T1 washers, just like we did earlier. We're gonna do all 4 corners like this. So you want this, the short bend area on the 10-foot side, long area on the 12-foot side. So we're gonna do that and we'll move on to the next steps. All right, so working from those corners we put in, now we're putting in panels E1, actually E2 right here, E1 right here. We're putting these screws in all the way across the bottom. Look, don't do what I did. Leave this one open because our next panel is gonna overlap it. But we went ahead and we did all of those. And then we came back over here on this back and we put our F1 piece here. That way we can put our screws through and it'll help support it. So we got to do this side still and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so coming in from the front, we went ahead and we added our F4 and F3 pieces here so that Screws in the middle to hold them together. And we stick our screws on the outside here. We did the same thing over there. So this side is our F4, this side's our F3, and then along the back we have an F5 and an F6 that kind of just connect back there. You can see it's drooping right now, but once we get our panels on, it'll hold it all together. So we have our F7 and F8 pieces along the top here, connects together, and there's 3 screws on the outside there. We're gonna do that on the other side as well now. All right, we're on to step 6. It gets a little more fun. We have 6 E2s and 1 E1. So these are our E2s right here. Good thing about these did not come with that plastic that we have to peel off. So we're just gonna take our screws and fill in the back. It looks like once you get all the way to this far end though, you throw an E1 to finish it off. So let's get to it. So up to this point, it's been going pretty slow, but now that we're putting these back walls on, everything's going a lot quicker. One thing I do, because this is a pain to pull these washers apart and put the screws through, so I just kind of do a batch at one time, and that way I can keep moving pretty quickly when drilling these panels in. All right, so we're on to step 7. We got our H3 and our H2 bolts and nuts. We got our K2s, K1s, B1 through 4, and our G3. So on our side with the K2, we put our B1. We put our B2 on the K1 side. These are our little vents here. You just want to make sure when you're looking at it from the outside, the vents are going up. So for instance, this will just slide under here and we'll screw it in from the other side. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll put all of these in, and then we'll come back and show you the next step. All right, so for the second half of step 7, we're gonna be attaching these together. One thing that's not very obvious in the instructions is that you need to use your B4 on this side and your B3 on this side. That way it holds it more firmly together. So just wanted to point that out for y'all. All right, now this is the biggest pain we've come across so far, is getting this put in. So this lip is gonna come over this piece of sheet metal, and we have our F5 and our F6 brackets that go along the top. So these are gonna come just like this, and our screws are gonna go from the outside end through these little holes here. So I'm gonna get to the other side and start screwing those in. Just to show you what it's gonna look like here. These little holes right here is where we'll feed our screws. So I'm gonna get to it. We got this back piece all screwed in, and it was an absolute pain in the butt. So now we're coming over here and we have these pieces. This is S5 right here that goes on the right side. S4 we've already put on the left side. You can see it screws in over these panels here. If you come in here, you just want to make sure this is on the inside of this as well. So we're going to put this in and we'll move on to the next step. This was step 9, by the way. All right, so we're putting this together. A bit confusing from the instructions, but what we do is we put this S3 piece, I believe it is, over the S1 piece. Coming around here, that's this. And it slides in right here. You can see there's gonna be a little hole. We'll drill a screw in here. And then this piece here slides in between our S1 and S3 piece in here. And then just like on the other side, we will drill, we'll screw our screws into here to support everything. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and we'll come right back. All right, we got also our S2 brackets in here. We got screws underneath here, screws all along underneath. And then on the outside, you can see there's a handful of screws on the right side and the left side. There are none across the middle, because I imagine that's where the door is gonna go. So now we're putting together our windows, and we need our C2 C3 and C1 pieces here, and it should look just like this, right? So you have this curve on the outside of these. This one goes on the inside, and we'll drill these bottom two, bolt these top two. So then when we're coming over to our window, we have this plexiglass here. It slides into here, into this slot down here. You really got to work it in, and then when we get to this here, you got to bend this. Here, go ahead and show them. You got to bend this plexiglass here for it to pop into this upper lip. That way it doesn't come back out later on. All right, so this window goes in from the front. You slide it up and under. These little wavy metal pieces slide into it, and this will come in underneath here. All right, now we put our bracket around the outside. We're putting the C3 side at the bottom, so these ridges will come in over it. Then we'll come back and we will screw in the sides here, and that will lock everything in place. All right, we got our two panels with windows built out, so now we need to grab 10 more E2 panels and 2 more E1 panels, and we're gonna fill in our sides here. We're gonna close this whole thing off on the sides. Our E1 panel is gonna go here and there, and you can put the window panel anywhere you want. So we're gonna throw one right there and one right in this area. That way we're getting the most natural light in here. All right, we're putting together our beams now. So we have L1, L2 at the top, L1, L2, L2, L1, L2, L1. And what we did was we just bolted these together. Now on this side here, we're making kind of like a thick beam. We bolted all 4 of them together. Same thing down here. All right, so we got our first beam going across on the left side. So this is the L1 side. It's gonna line up with these, and we're just gonna bolt through there. Just as an FYI, L2 is gonna be on the back for this right one. All right, so we got our Q1 pieces going on the top here. There's an overhang, so we're just gonna work those all the way to the end. Then we're gonna put a Q2 and then a Q1 piece at the very end. We're gonna do the same thing, but in reverse on this side. So we'll have Q1s going from that end all the way to here. We'll put our Q2 piece right here and then finish it with a Q1 piece at the very end.
All right, we're done with step 16. We've got 4 on one side, 4 panels on the other, and about half of the shed top is done as far as the roof goes. We're going on to step 17. Okay, step 17 has us taking these 2 center, I guess they go on the roof as centers to keep the water out there. N1 and N2, we're just attaching them to each other and to the ceiling, so, or to the top of the roof. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, I screwed N2 and it goes on top of N1. N1 goes way out over here, but as you can see, you can lift it up so you can still screw your pieces on, so everything's good. Okay, we're on to step 18. We're putting 3 panels on each side and attaching them, and we'll continue. All right, I'm done with that step, and you can see most of the roof's on. Now I'm going to step 19, which is basically taking another piece of trim and you place it on and attach it, and that's the next step. Very easy. All right, we're up to step 20. We're going to use 1 Q2 and 3 Q1s for the end. You attach the 2 Q1s on the side that you didn't attach the Q2, and you attach the Q2 on the side where you didn't attach it. So there's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. We're getting close. Okay, as you can see, we got the basic roof completely on. Now we're going to put trim on the edges, because every edge needs trim, and that's the next step. That's step 21. Let me show you step 21 here. you gotta have M1, M2, M3, M4, G1, G2. And they go around the edges. I'm going to start with the edge that has M1, M3, and M4 first, and then we'll do the ones that go up the front and the back. Here are the pieces. They're the plastic pieces. That's G1 and G2. And then you can see we got two M1s, two M2s, two M3s, and four M4s. And you can see they're all different lengths. That's part of the issue, so you gotta make sure you put them on right. Just follow the directions. It looks like it's easy. All right, we got the trim on. You can see it's nice. It's the same on both sides. Little plastic tips on the edges to finish them off. Very nice. Now we're going to the next step. The next step is this one here. It's the doors. You can see the parts. You'll see the parts. You just got to pull them all out and get them ready, and then we'll put it together. Okay, so we're starting on the door. As you can see, all the pieces, we got them right here all laid out, ready to go. The D4s and everything else, they're all laid out, including the little R4, R2, and R3, and we're ready to put our doors together. And this is step number, let's turn the page, 22. Finished with step 3. I attached the two bolts at the top and the bottom to the frames. We got the doors. Now we're moving to the next step, step 23. We got to put in the lock mechanisms. And they go on the doors. It's pretty easy. We'll do this next. Okay, we're up to step 24. We got to put the bracing in. As you can see, we got the lock mechanisms in place, and now we're going to put in the bracing on the back. Little tip, folks. If you can look down here, you see that hole is very little. I just put a screw through that entire hole and strip it out so I can screw it into the bar. You may not want to try and do it that way, but it wouldn't work for me otherwise. I stripped it, then I put a screw into the bar, reinforcing it underneath. Okay, now we're going on to installing the hinges on this shed. Here are the hinges and the H5 and H6 screw and bolts that we need to attach it. So we're going to attach those now. Alright, I'm down to just attaching the doors to the shed with the H4 screws. And we're going to attach them to the hinges. Okay, the last step involves anchoring it to the ground. You got levelers, anchors, and little corner pieces to put it together like this. I suppose that's for someone who didn't bother making a wood deck or a deck of any kind, and they put it in the ground. But those anchors, they're not really all that hot. I don't think I'd use them if I were you. Alright folks, this is the finished product. You can see vents at the top. That's nice. Got a window on each side, and it's really nice. And then on the inside, you can see the doors swing right open, and then inside, a lot of room. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and I can stand up in most of this shed. It's really nice. That's a ladder, fit in there, no problem. All right, thanks.